Thank you very much, Presiding Officer. And let me start by congratulating James Kelly on giving us this opportunity to have this debate tonight. I've not signed the motion. That's pure inadvertence and certainly not deliberate. And because I was in chamber this afternoon speaking in another debate, I was unable to hear Harry Hay and the many other people who are in the gallery. But I'm absolutely sure that they will have put their point across extremely well. Let me start by congratulating the Parkinson's nurses that there are across Scotland. One of the things, actually, none of my predecessors in the debate made reference to, which I'm sure is part of the service delivered, is, of course, the service to the carers of those who suffer from Parkinson's. Because, of course, like many long-term conditions, it is unlikely to be one that you suffer alone. It's one that is shared with many others around you. In NHS Grampian, the area, the board that covers my constituency, we are relatively fortunate in having 4 nurses. James Kelly is highlighted in the briefing that the Society has given us for his work with NHS Lanarkshire, and I hope that he continues with that. Now, of course, we meet Parkinson's in many sorts of different circumstances, and of course it isn't a single condition, and not all tremors are Parkinson's, and not all Parkinsons suffer from a single disease. I remember it being brought vividly home to me, the effects of this disease, on a 9-hour flight, where the person sitting next to me, I would suggest, probably had Parkinson's, and certainly had a tremor that continued for 9 hours. I didn't get to sleep. But I thought to myself how lucky I was for having 9 hours of very mild inconvenience, whereas the person sitting beside me had a substantial difficulty that he would experience for a long time. There are many causes of Parkinson's. My father, who was a GP, always worried that my mother would develop it as a byproduct of her having had diphtheria when she was a child. Many of the causes are not so obviously connected to something like that. So there are many, many different ways. Research is comparatively modest. And there is also, because there doesn't appear to be very much prospect of financial benefit to the pharmaceutical companies from addressing the issue of curing the disease or Parkinson-specific drugs, not as much research in this as there perhaps is in other areas. There are lots of drugs for treating the specific symptoms that vary from person to person, but not a great deal that is spent on looking at bigger, bolder interventions that might make a real difference to the people who are represented in the gallery today. Now, I've always taken an interest in particular in mental ill health, and of course any disease such as Parkinson's always comes with it, in a significant proportion of cases, with mental ill health, because when people are struck by a disease out of the blue at the age of 50, 60, perhaps younger, when you've still got the expectation of many years of productive life ahead, it's not just a physical condition, it can be a mental one. So I hope and believe that the Parkinson's nurses will address that as well. But also, of course, I come back to the issue of carers, and I do hope that we'll hear in this short debate this evening that carers are an important part of the support that can be given to Parkinson's. And I end by simply once again congratulating James Kelly and Parkinson's nurses for the work that they have both done. Presiding Officer.